Rita. Hi Rita, ek sien jy's in en uit. Ek weet nie of jy dalk op 'n foon probeer link nie. Ek weet 'n vorige kliënt het ook met 'n foon probleme gehad en moes ook heeltyd in en uit, anders gooi hy haar uit, of as jy op 'n desktop of 'n laptop. As jy dalk van een of ander indikasie kan gee of 'n boodskapie kan tik, dan weet ek jy's lewendig en jy kan my hoor. Hi guys, welcome to my webinar today. Just a little bit of background. My name is Chris Botha. I'm from South Africa. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer. I've been using the Microsoft range of products for the past 30 years, been training it for the past 20. And in my current job, I also use it on a daily basis, specifically Excel. So I also provide Microsoft Excel training, either one-on-one training or using the Zoom application. I also provide training over the internet. Today, I just want to show you 5 of my most favorite users of Excel. Some of them you might know of already. Some of them might be new to you. I hope most of them will be new to you. So the first thing I wanted to show you is the flash fill option. This is new in Office. I think Office 2010 onwards, wasn't available previously. So you might find that these options do not work on your version of Excel. On the screen, what we have in front of us, we've got a list of names and surnames, and we would most probably like to have it in this format, where the first letters are uppercase, or as Excel referred to it as propercase. So what we do then is you need to be in the first cell exactly next to the cell where you are going to use flash fill. So for example, you have to be in that specific cell, no columns in between. So what you need to do is you type in the first option the way you want it to be appear. Then you just copy it down and you will get this little box on the bottom right corner. You will click on that and you will have the flash fill option. It will then copy them down. So let's just do that one first. Sorry, I typed in the wrong surname. It is Brown. There we go, Chris Brown. You click on it. You can double click on this little corner button. I know we're used to dragging something down when we copy it. We can just double click on that and it will copy it down for you. I click on this button, I say flash fill, and it immediately picks up what I wanted to do in the first cell and repeats it for the rest. Let's say we only wanted the initial and the surname. Let's see if that works. You can try all kinds of combinations. I double click on that, go to the button, I say flash fill, and it gives me the initial and the surname. You can try lots of variances of this, just initials, and see what works. Let's look at this option. One more I want to show you at the top. Maybe you want to split the name and the surname. That's something we usually want to do. You can type in the Chris, you can double click, you can go to flash fill again, and it will bring down the names, and you can also then try the surnames. I have another option of splitting names and surnames, which I will show you in the next example. You must also keep in mind when you do use flash fill, it's a once off. If I would go back to Chris Brown and change that to Chris Green, it will not change the flash fills I've used before. So it is a once off. Another way of using flash fill is where you might have some codes. So, sorry, I just want to check something quickly. One of the participants say they can't hear me. Let me just go to my mic settings again. And it is picking up my voice. Just want to send the person a message. Good, let's carry on. Where you have codes and numbers, maybe you want the first part of the code to be displayed. Click on it, double click, go to the flash fill option, and we'll extract the first part. Maybe you only want the number section of the code. You can type that in, double click on the corner, go flash fill, and it finds that. Another nice option to use flash fill is where you are actually using dates. So if I type the day in there, copy that down, do my flash fill, it will extract the dates. If I do the months, I can click on that, double click, it will extract the month. And you can even try the year. If it's 2019, you can click on it, double click, and do a flash fill down. Good, that is the flash fill option. Try some variables, some other options, and see what you get out of it. A very useful tool to use. Now, I mentioned that when I want to split names and surnames, I would rather use another option. So I'm going to something which is called text to columns. So I have in my first column a name and a surname. I would like to split that. Now, before I use the text to column option, I will have to provide for an empty column where I'm going to input the surnames. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to select this range of data. I'm going to right click. I'm going to say insert, and I'm going to say shift to the right. Just an empty column. I'm going to name the column surname and enter. Then I'm going to select the values that I want to split, or the cells. I select the cells. I go to data at the top. And on my menu, there's an option for text to column. It's going to ask me, do I use delimited or fixed width? Delimited means, is there something in the data I can use to split it into another column? And yes, I have a space in between, so I'm going to use the delimited option. I'm going to go next. And I am going to use the space option. At the bottom, it gives me a preview of the data currently. I say space, and you can see it splits the data into two columns. I'm going to say finish, and there I've split the name and the surname. Very easy to use. Let's look at the next sample. I have names, a space, a surname, a comma, and an age, for example. So I'd like to split this into three columns with the name, surname, and age. But the problem is I'm using spaces in between the name and the surname and a comma for the age. So let's see if we can still use text to column. Obviously, I'm going to need two more extra columns, one for the surname and one for the age. I'm going to select this, 2 columns, right click, insert, move to the right. Going to name this surname, call this page. I'm going to select the data. I'm going to go data at the top again. I'm going to go text to column. Still going to be delimited. Going to select next. It gives me a preview now. Because previously I've used space already, it is selected, but I can deselect it to see what happens. So preview of the data. I know there's a space in between. I use the space. Well done. First split is done. Now for the second one, I'm going to use the comma. Now obviously there is a comma option, but let's say it was something else, like a forward slash. You can go to this option here and type the comma in there or the forward slash. It will use that to split the data. I can finish, and there I've split the data into the name, into the surname, and into the age. Very useful tool to split data. Good. The next thing I'd like to show you is a named range option. Good. On the named range option, I have data, I've got sales information, and I've got number of sales. In this little cell on the right-hand side, I would like to have, let's say, the sum of the sales numbers. And maybe I would like to have, let's say, the average of the numbers. Select that, close. Easy to do. I think you're all familiar with creating a basic formula. But what I want to do is I want to use this range of data on another spreadsheet. Or on another spreadsheet. I would like to use the number calculation somewhere else. Let's say I want to do something with numbers here and something with sales here. Go to a new sheet, do something with sales there and numbers again. So every time you use that range in a formula, you will have to manually go equal sum bracket, use your mouse, scroll up or down, find the range, select the range, close the bracket, and get the result. If you're on another page, it becomes more difficult because now you have to jump from one page to another. Now, Excel has got something called a named range, where you can give the range of numbers or data a name, and then just use the name in your formula, and you can repeatedly use the same name. Doesn't matter where you are on the file, without actually having to go back to the actual range. So how do I create a range? So you select the original data. On the left-hand side of your screen, you will use your mouse and you will find there is something called a named box. It's this little box at the top which shows you your current cell position. All you do is you click in that little box and you type the name of the range. Let's say the sales of 2020. You're not allowed to use empty spaces. You press your enter key to confirm. Let's create another range for numbers. I select the range, I go to the name box, and I say, these are the numbers for 2020, and important, press the enter key. How can I confirm that I actually have created those ranges? I just click any empty cell, go back to that little box at the top left corner, use the drop down, and if they appear there, you know you have created those ranges. If you select any one of them, it will actually go to the range on your spreadsheet. So this is also a very nice tool to navigate a spreadsheet. So if you've got all sorts of ranges all over your spreadsheet, you can just give them names and use this button to jump from the one to the other. Now, how do I use those named ranges? I go and I say sum bracket, and all I need to do is I need to start typing the name. I know it was something with sales. I start typing SA and the range name appears. I double click, it puts it in the formula, and voila, there you have the answer. If, for example, I want the minimum of the numbers range, I will start typing the number. Let me just check quickly. Just want to find my mouse. There we go. And I go number. The number range appears. Double click, put it in the formula, and there we go. I can now go to any other sheet in my workbook and reference those ranges. I can have maybe the minimum of the number range. Let's see. up, double click, and without having to browse back or scroll back to the range, I can do a calculation. So this is a brilliant tool to use in Excel where you've got named ranges, and use the named ranges in the formula. So if I double click on that, you can see there I've used the original range before I explained the named ranges. And here, if I double click, you can see, let me just check where I've used it there. There you can see I've used a named range in my formula. Great. Custom views, another gem hidden in Excel that very few people are aware of. And this is creating custom views. If you look at the data, you might find that a manager needs a specific department. So he wants to filter out that data. Another manager wants to view another department. So every time you see this data, you have to redo the filter, reselect the range, print it, have different header and footers on your printing. So if you work for all of those departments, you will most probably have to prepare 5 or 6 reports and print them for someone. So what you have to do, first of all, click inside your data and switch on your filter tool. So you go to data, you go to filter, and you get these little drop downs at the top. So now it's easy to only, for example, look at the accounts department or look at all the departments. Now, once you've done that, I usually tend to create a default view, because if I create a view for the marketing department and I save the view and one for sales, and I want to get back to my original full list of data, it's easy to always have a default view as well. So I just switch on the filter option and I go to views and I go to custom views, and I'm going to add a view. Now, it tells you it will save all the print settings of this view, as well as hidden rows, columns, and filters. So if I would hide certain rows of columns, it will save it with this view. If I do specific print settings, for example, landscape or portrait, it will remember it with this view. Now with this view, I'm just going to call it the default view, and I'm going to OK. Great. Now I prepare the marketing report. So I go into my filter. I say I only want to see the marketing people, and maybe I do not want to see the region column. So I even hide that. And I want to save this now as a view. So I go back to view. I go to custom view. I add, and I say this is the marketing view, and OK. Great. Now you will see the benefit of creating a default view. If I want my original view back, unhiding that column, showing me all the departments, all I need to do is go to my custom views and click on default and show. And there I have my original list back. If I now suddenly want to create the marketing report, I can go to custom views again, and I can say I want to see the marketing, and there it creates it. Brilliant tool to use. Just keep in mind, if you do use tables in Excel in your spreadsheet or in your file, the custom view option is not available. So be aware, if you have tables in your file, you will not have the custom view option. And I'll show that to you in the next example. The next thing I want to show you is then using tables. I have 2 sets of data here. I have on the left-hand side, and let's say these are the sales, let's say the sales for 2019. Let's say these are the sales for 2020. Now, using tables in Excel, why would you use that? First of all, tables will allow you to automatically extend the range. For example, if I would go there and I would say this is sales times numbers, I would normally do the following. I would say this equals that times this, enter. I will have to click on it and I have to drag it down. I will have to give a header there. Let's just make the column wider. And every time I have to do a very manual process with formulas. I'm just going to delete that. If I convert this to a table, it will also be very easy to do formatting on the table, and it would also be very easy to add calculations at the bottom. I'll show you all of this. Um, so first, what you need to do is it's always a good idea to have headers at the top. So I will click inside the data. I will go insert. I will go table. It will then confirm the range with me and that I do have table headers. I click OK. And at this stage, it just looks like a lot of formatting has kicked in and the filter button automatically appeared. If I click inside the table, you will now see I have a table toolbar at the top. If I click outside, you will see the table toolbar disappears. So I click inside. It's always a good idea to give the table a name as well. As we did in the previous example with named ranges, it's a good idea to give tables names as well, especially if you're going to use them in pivot tables afterwards or in Power Query. So I click inside, I get the table toolbar, I go to the right-hand side, and there I have the option to give it a name. Once again, no spaces, and enter to confirm. So I've created a table. Let's do it on the side as well. I go insert, I go table, I confirm, it does the formatting automatically. The table toolbar appears. I go to the left-hand side and I say, this is my sales 2020 option, and I confirm to enter. It says it already exists because we used it in a named range. That's why. Let's call it something else. Let's call it sales underscore 2020. That should work. Let's go back to the first table. If I want to add a total, you will see as soon as I type total, the table range automatically extends. Now, if I do a formula and I say it is this times this, you will see a different format of the formula. Usually you would have said G6 times H6, but as I'm using tables, it now refers to the column name. So it says I'm going to take the sales column, I'm going to multiply it with the number column. I enter and the magic happens. It will automatically copy the formula down to the bottom. I don't have to worry about confirming that or dragging it down or copying. It will automatically happen. Let's say I do another formula, just call it average, and I say this equals the sales divided by the number. It says sales divided. As soon as I enter, it drops down and it automatically completes the formula for me. I can also add formulas at the bottom. All I need to do is I click inside, I go to the table toolbar, and I select total rows. It will automatically add the total or the sum of the last column. But look at this magic, what happens. If I click in any of these cells on the bottom, I will get a drop down of built-in formulas. So I don't have to worry about knowing any formulas. It will automatically do it for me. I can say count for me. It will say there were 12 in that column. I can say, for example, in this one, let's just check. My mouse doesn't want to respond here. But yeah, if I should click on that, I will get the option for numbers or sums or averages. I'm just having a problem with my mouse at the moment. I can't seem to click on. There we go. There we go. Let's say the maximum there, and then maybe the average there. You can do the same on this side. But let's get back to this table. Now, usually when we have formulas at the bottom, it is a bit of a crisis to add new data. You usually have to insert rows and make sure that you insert them here in the middle somewhere so that this formula will automatically adjust to include that. Now, if you use tables, it is very easy to insert data. You will see in the right bottom corner, I'm circling there. There's a blue little arrow in the corner. If I click on it and I drag it down, it will add the number of empty rows that I need. It even copies the formulas for me down. So if I go there and I add the data here, let's say West, let's say accounts, let's say 12, and let's say 12 again. You will see that the formulas automatically kick in. The formulas at the bottom will automatically kick in as well. So no need to edit formulas, copy formulas, or anything. This is obviously an error because it's trying to divide by 0, and therefore this will also give me an error. So if I put in data there, I go west again, let's say account, and let's say 200, and let's say 23, the problem is solved. Automatically extends the range for you. If I want to add another set of data, I will just go to that bottom little corner, drag one down, go back and complete the data set for that. Let's just do this quickly, see how it works. 389, and it automatically completes. What is also nice when you use tables, and you can use a lot of tables on the same spreadsheet. If I want to delete, let's say, for example, these two rows, I will select the numbers on the right-hand side. I will right-click. I will say delete. And unfortunately, it will delete all through the spreadsheet, even in this table. If you use a table, you can just select the two rows in any column, doesn't matter. Right-click. You will say delete, and you will say table rows. It will only delete it out of the specific table that you are in. On this side, nothing happened. Let's confirm that again. Let's say I'm going to delete all of this data. You would assume that all of the data on the right-hand side will also delete. Normally, that will happen. If you select this and you delete, you will delete everything right across the spreadsheet. So I go to the specific table. I'm going to say delete these rows. Right click. I'm going to say delete table rows. You can see deleted on this side, and this side stayed intact. Brilliant tool to use is your table option, especially for formatting as well. You can click on this, go to the table design, and select any one of these and say, I would rather like my table to look like this. It's really up to you. Formatting very quick and easy. Now remember I said when you use tables, you will not be able to use the previous example of custom views. Now I've created a table on this sheet. Let's go to my custom views sheet and go to views again, and you will see the custom views are not available anymore. So yes, you have to decide. If you want to use custom views, you cannot have tables in your file. If you want to use tables, you will not be able to use custom views. Great. The last little tool is actually just a fun one I want to show to you, is where you have charts. And I'm just going to create a basic chart. Select the data. I'm going to go insert. I'm going to go a normal column chart. There we have it. Now that's a very boring chart. So what I want to do, let's say I work for Apple Corporation. I actually want to use that little Apple icon as my bars on my chart. So what I did is I searched, Google search a little icon. I size it and preferably use a picture with a transparent background. So look for PNG format. So what I do is I just click on the picture. I go Control C for copy. I click the bars on the chart. I go Control V. And it puts that picture into the chart for me. But obviously, it will distort the picture because of the different heights. So what I do is I right-click on the bar. I so format data series. And on the right-hand side, I go to this first option. I go to fill. And there you have an option to stack your graphics or your image. And look how nice that looks. Brilliant little fun tool. If you use, let's say, BMW Corporation, BMW also has got a nice little round icon you can use. You can use any icon and use that as the fill for your chart. Okay, guys, that is in a nutshell some of my favorite tools that I use in Excel. If you need any other more information from my side, course information, or just drop me an email if you have a problem with something, you're more than welcome. Here is my website address, www.clbtraining.co.za. You can send me an email as well at chris@clbtraining.co.za. What I will be doing is I will check your names in the registry of this webinar. and send you a link to a video recording of the specific webinar. Guys, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it, and chat soon. Keep a lookout for my next webinar. I'm going to try and do these once a week. Great. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this.